Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Coconut Wireless. Yes, I am solo tonight. Uncle Charlie is out with his lovely wife, and so you just got me. But I got some things to talk about tonight. So stay with. Yes, this is fireworks from last night at the PMRF out in Mana. Patsy and I went out with my brother and his wife. Enjoyed the show, and I'm just gonna let this play. This is the fireworks display that started about 9:30, I think, and it was just beautiful. But it's our country's birthday, 249 years old, and I just wanted to share some thoughts and observations. And again, this is not coming from me as a council member or I'm a citizen like all of you, and just in recent years, we see the heaviness of what's going on, the hate, the division, the violence, and I put some notes down, and I just wanted to share a bit as we watch the celebration of our country's birthday on the screen. Beautiful fireworks, by the way. But I don't know if you've observed this. I'm sure you have the rise in the hate speech and intolerance, both online and offline. I mean, in real life, and it's concerning. The increased violence in communities. You see it on the news every day: shootings, assaults, and just aggression all over the place. And this political hostility spilling into our personal relationships and our families. I cannot believe how families and friendships are being torn apart because of politics. It's just crazy. And it shouldn't be that way. And the more and more this happens, the disrespect between people for our elders, leaders, and for even one another is becoming normal. It's just people expect it and they practice it. So, what is its impact really on our society? How is it affecting our children? What are they learning from watching us as their adults and their parents and grandparents? What are they learning from us? I know what they're not learning. They're not learning compassion. What they are learning is they're learning that it's okay to be quick to judge and slow to understand. So I'm concerned. Fear is replacing trust, and just not in politics, but in neighborhoods and even between friends, and that is kind of scary. And what's even worse is the desensitization of the bad things in our world. We scroll right past images or videos or posts about suffering and no feeling. We just scroll right past, looking for the next one. So what is the cause? And I think that is what I challenge myself to try to determine. The lack of accountability, right? People speak without thinking of what the consequences are. They just let it go. They let it fly. And it's scary. The influence on social media, the misinformation and how it gets shared over and over and over again is just creating more and more problems. What we're seeing is a decline in the spiritual and moral values, regardless of what you believe in, and just the loss of community. And that is kind of scary. So what kind of future are we trying to build? And I challenge each and every one of you guys watching. And I don't expect too many people tonight. My gosh, it's the 4th of July. It's the 4th of July. And I didn't, but I wanted to get this out because I am leaving. Pats and I are leaving tomorrow, and we are going to be gone for a couple of weeks. So I wanted to get this video out because it is our country's birthday, and I thought it was appropriate. But really, what kind of future are we building? And I challenge everybody watching, and I hope if you're not here, you're watching the replay. Look inward before pointing outward. And we cannot allow these types of behavior to continue. We just simply cannot do that. Personal responsibility. Share your commitment to compassion, understanding, and respect, and making sure that you are sharing that with your keiki or your grandchildren. And we got to lead with empathy. We got to be able to put ourselves in the shoes of others that are struggling and going through some rough times. You know, that's hard to do sometimes, but we got to do it. No worry, we can get to some good fun stuff later, but I just wanted to get this out. We are going through some dark times, and depending who you talk to, it's darker for some than others, but we've been through these times before, and we can do it again. In fact, we have to. We all know change doesn't require everybody to buy in, but we just need enough people to continue to do what's right, and we can, and we must. So this really isn't about being a Democrat or Republican, independent or green or whatever the case is. I am a nonpartisan, so I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I don't participate in any of the party politics, but it's just about right and wrong, and we should be inviting reflection. We should be talking about things and not arguing about every single thing that is going on in our world. So we'll see. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight, or me. Uncle Charlie, again, is not here tonight. He is out with his lovely wife. Again, I shared with you, Patsy and I went out to PMRF, and I want to say mahalo to the PMRF, to the Pacific Missile Range facility for doing this celebration every year, and and it's free. Not too often you can go to a celebration and it's free, and it was just, I don't know how many people were there last night, but I think for me it appeared there were more people last night there than prior years. This year, Kauai Police was amazing. They were everywhere, and they set up cones on the roads to provide 2 lanes of travel out west, so that really cut down on the travel time. So mahalos to Kauai Police Department. And even after the event, coming back, they were there to control the traffic of everyone coming out of the base, and it was just a great, great, great experience. So I really want to mahalo Kauai Police, PMRF, all of the people that made it possible. Their headliner band, I can't remember, something Breeze, some big time guy from Oahu, I guess, canceled out 2 days before, and they brought in the United States Air Force band, and it was their rock band. It was they played, their set was amazing. They went through 60s, 70s, 80s music. Brought me back to high school days with some of the songs they were playing, and they were really, really good. And this morning I went to Starbucks and they were there drinking their coffee, and I went up and told them thank you, and they were so happy that that we enjoyed their performance. It was awesome. It was just a great event. But it wasn't just about the fireworks. It was watching all of those military personnel there, and we're so appreciative of what they do for the protection of our freedom. And I'm a vet. I'm not a combat vet. Make that very clear. But so I don't put myself in that same category as those that are out there fighting and doing what they need to do to keep our country safe and secure and our freedoms intact. So it was just an opportunity for us to thank them, and just to see so many families, so many kids, all having a blast. And we need more events like that, because again, we lose so much, but those are the types of events that bring communities together. And I cannot say enough about the Navy and the military and what they do. And I know there's some people that don't celebrate today, and I respect everybody's position and opinions. And on the news the other night, I saw a video, and this was on the mainland, and they were burning the American flag, and one by one went up and spit on the flag, and that bothers me. I mean, yes, they have the right and the freedoms to do that, but my Lord, man, you're in a country where our troops go out and fight for our freedoms, and you have the nerve to burn our flag and spit on the flag. Oh my God, that bothers me. And again, my little opening statement about showing empathy, and and it's hard to maintain sometimes when I see things like that. I'm a patriotic guy. I love this country a lot, and I celebrate this birthday as if it was it is an important day for me. And next year is 250 years. And just think, if we didn't have the United States of America, imagine if we didn't become the United States of America. I mean, what would it be like? Imagine what it would be like if we didn't have the freedoms that we have. So I think we should appreciate that and respect it. And yes, 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 we respect everybody's position and opinions, but that is just mine. And I honestly don't know what I would do if I saw someone spit on our flag or burn our flag. I mean, I would not sit back and not say anything, because that's just how I am. So I'm curious how you guys feel. Put it in the comments, folks. I love to hear you guys' thoughts on this, and I appreciate the 17 people that are actually on 4th of July. I honestly did not expect anyone, maybe my wife, but we did celebrate last night. So I decided to do this video today because there are a couple of things, community events, public service announcements that I wanted to get out to help some of our organizations, a couple of organizations that are quite familiar, that are having some events coming up. So I did wanted to share with that. And then I did want to wrap up with some comments about the Civil Beat article regarding the Adolescent Drug Treatment Center here in Kauai, because we'll get to that in a little bit. But first up is an event that is being held by the Koloa Pop Warner Association. And just, I'm the commissioner for the Kauai Pop Warner Football League. We have 5 associations on the island. And Koloa struggled. In fact, last year, Koloa didn't even have any teams involved. And we are trying to rebuild Koloa. They were once a very strong and flourishing program, and they got a great bunch of leaders now, new people that are stepping up, and they need our help. And I know that we got a lot of fisherwomen on our show every night whenever we come on. So they're hosting a fishing tournament. This is a shoreline fishing tournament. $1,000 cash prize for the winner, and a bunch of other prizes as well. But this is July 18th to the 20th. And please, 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 if you can share this stuff, everything I share on this show is on my page. So please, if you have any questions, obviously you can reach out to me, or you can go to my Facebook page and find all the information there. And but yeah, please, if you want to get more information, you can call or text 808-651-2591, or email koloapopwarner808@gmail.com. So please, please, please go check it out. That's going to be a fun event. Again, we really need everybody's help. If you just want to help out and you don't want to fish, again, you can call that number or email the screen, and you can make a contribution as well. We really want to see Koloa. Everyone's struggling for kids, and for whatever reason, but we really want to get Koloa back in the game. And I know that they do have a few of the kids today that have signed up for cheer. So we're gonna have we know we're gonna have a cheer squad, and that is a huge accomplishment for Koloa. But we want to get some of our flag teams and tackle teams in place as well. I do want to share some of these comments. I'm glad you're on, honey. Thank you. And BC, I'm the Daughters of American Revolution. This is the holiday honoring my genealogy ancestors. People who spit and burn on the American flag need to understand that many died fighting for their freedom and right to do this. God bless America. Thank you so much. Yes, I cannot agree with you more. Those soldiers and Navy sailors and airmen and Marines, all of those people that went out and fought and gave up their lives, did so that these people can do what they do. And it's kind of like, if you don't like my house, or you come to my house and you don't like the way I function in my house here in the Wailua house lots, you can just leave. I don't want to see you come in and spit on my floor because you're pissed off with me. No, just leave the house. And that's kind of how I feel about these people. If you're at that point where you're burning flags and spitting on the flag that people died to protect, then yeah, something's not right. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. So next up, again, this might not go the full hour tonight, but I do encourage the community. If you got any questions for me about anything, please feel free to share it. The next one up, Boy Scouts. Everybody know about the Boy Scouts. They're having their golf tournament on August 2nd, and Fun golf tournament. If Tyson Moyes is out there, I know Tyson. I think he participates in all the golf tournaments on Kauai. But fun event, lots of prizes, and again, there is the contact information. scoutinghawaii.org/Kauai Golf. You can get right in there and register. Likewise, if you don't golf, you can still make a donation to help our scouting program here on Kauai. Vian Tabata, the number is on the screen, 651-9571, or you can email her at vian.tabata@scouting.org. This proceeds of this event will be for the programs here on Kauai, and it's not going to no national organization or whatever. So we're going to try and put out as many of these as we can to help our local nonprofits succeed. So again, if you're watching this and you have your phone close by, you can just take a shot at that QR code and get to the site, or www.scoutinghawaii.org/Kauai Golf. All right. So, everybody, what do you guys want to talk about? What? Oh, there's my wife. Hi, handsome. Okay, now I know it meant for me because Charlie ain't on. I thought every time she did that, she was trying to talk to Charlie, but Charlie ain't here. So, thank you for joining us, honey. We're flying out tomorrow, so she's busy all day today baking and, taking care of the house, making sure we got everything in order, packing and all of that stuff. We are going to go see our daughter and our two grandsons. So we are excited for that. And we are flying out tomorrow. The prices on the airlines is out of control. I think we picked the wrong time to go, the 4th of July period, but it's very expensive, and but it's worth it. We want to go see our daughter and our grandkids, so we're looking forward to that. We're flying out tomorrow night. I'll chat with Charlie, and if we can figure out a way to do the show while I'm away. It's just a time difference. It's 5 hours, so it's midnight when it's 7 o'clock here. But I'm willing to do it if Charlie's available and talk story, because it's always fun. We missed last week. I told Charlie that we would do it on Tuesday, and I totally had a brain fart and forgot. So we never had a show last week, and I feel bad for that. But it is great to see how Councilmember Holland and the Parks and Rec got that Wailo area all cleaned up. Absolutely. Councilmember Holland's doing a great job, and she's very active and participating. And, we get a lot of concerns from the communities, and we our job is to make sure we get that concerns over to the appropriate agencies so they can do the cleanup. That was a big job. Fern and I were actually down there a couple of weeks ago, and it was a huge undertaking, and they got it done. And I mahalo to Councilmember Holland, as well as our Parks and Rec department. Pat Porter and his team did an amazing job, and it was horrific. The problem is honey, is that this is continuing all over the island, and I just wish our people would have a little bit more respect for our aina, our land, where we gotta start taking care of our place. And I don't know. It's hard I don't know what the heck is going on. I just don't. I mean, I was a Kolohe guy growing up. I was a pretty Kolohe guy. I think back to some of the things that we did when we were young, but we never disrespected places, parks, wherever we hung out. We always cleaned up. That's just how it was. And for the life of me, I cannot understand what happened to cause people to think that it is okay to just take your trash and dump it in the public spaces. It's just, how do you fix that? I don't know. I mean, we got laws in place, but it's just it comes back to how we're raising our kids, and what are we teaching our kids. And I talked about it earlier about our behavior is what is teaching these kids. Whether it's about the hate that's circulating around social media, or how we take care of our stuff, our kids follow us and they learn from us, and that's where it starts. And you cannot legislate that. You cannot legislate that. We got to just be better people all the way around. We got to be better people. So, Yes, Susan. Good evening. Happy Fourth. What are you guys? I'm curious. What are you guys doing to celebrate? Please get engaged in this comment so I can we can communicate. But what are you guys doing? What did you do or are you doing to celebrate? Obviously, watching the Coconut Wireless is not an approved method of celebrating our nation's birthday, but I appreciate you guys here. Um, Patsy made some bratwurst brats. We're gonna have brats for dinner after the show, and you know, true to what so we supposed to be doing. Okay, here we go. I heard from an employee at Parks and Rec that a contract that was not renewed by the county for appliance pickup the refuse stations. He said that people are now dumping things off the things. I will find out about that. I'm not aware of that. I know we do the white goods pickup throughout the year, and no, I actually I'll follow up on that. Thanks for letting me know. Are you too young to recall climbing all over the Hall came trailers parked at Isenberg Park? No, I'm not. I'm not. Sam, I'm not. Definitely not too young. I mean, I am so old. I remember. I remember when they used to bring the fog trucks, for the mosquitoes. And I remember all the kids in the neighborhood running behind, playing in the smoke. I remember that. I remember when the cane roads didn't have gates, and we were pretty much free to go in and out. And then I remember when the gates went up, and then I remember when all those properties were bought out by private people, and now you just cannot go in at all. So yeah, I am not too young. I remember a lot, and like I said, I was a little Kolohe fella back in the day. But yeah, I remember that quite well. In fact, Sam, I used to live in Isenberg. I used to live there in my very young age, when I was a very little boy. And I remember Isenberg was our home. I remember Mellow Pond. We used to go behind the cane field. There was a reservoir there. We used to go catch medaka in the pond and bring them home and try to see if we could keep them alive. Um, but I was very little, and yeah, so I definitely remember that. And not that doesn't happen anymore. Everybody's on their phones or iPads, and I gotta say, my daughter has two young kids, the babies, and one is gonna be 2 years old in September. The other one, I believe, is like 5 months or 6 months old. But no screen time. Their policy is no screen time for the kids. In other words, the kids, they don't watch cartoons on YouTube or whatever on the iPad or on the phone, and I think that's so cool because everyone else is the kids are glued to the phones at a very young age. So yeah, that was crazy. So I just wanted to say that. Yeah, look how healthy we are after the DDT fogging. I know, man. I think back and I'm like, golly gee, man, that stuff was poison. Yeah, we used to chase them. Yeah, chase Marlies, us. Yeah, man, we all the when you heard it coming, everybody would get in the street and chase and play in the fog. They called it fog, but it was poison, and it was to kill the mosquitoes. I don't know. I don't know what the lasting effects of that was or is or what. I mean, I guess probably wasn't good for us. I gotta believe that. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to cover was the Civil Beat did an article last week, and it was the article regarding the Kauai's Battle Drug Addiction Treatment Center for Youth is no longer empty. It was a great article actually, and it was about the facility that's up Kapaya, and we're going to do a show. We are going to do a show specifically on the drug treatment center because I think number one, most people didn't even realize that it was operating, um, and it's true. It truly is an embattled drug addiction treatment center for youth. But as the article says, it's no longer empty. It has been occupied for a while now, and there's some history. I'm not going to get into the political history, but I will. You read the article; it's a really great well written article. So go check it out. It's on Civil Beat, and I think when was this? June 30th. So it was just last week. But they talked about uh, the outpatient treatment that's being provided right now by the YMCA of Oahu. or YMCA of Honolulu. And I just, full disclosure, I was on the council when the land was donated from Grove Farm, and then really nothing was done. I think the county had it for many years. Obviously, the facility was built using state and county monies. It was about $7 million total. The county tried to get a residential program running, and we're unsuccessful. And then the county attempted to use the facility for other purposes. That's when I got back involved because I was not on the council at the time. And long story short, the county couldn't fulfill the requirement of the transfer of that property from Grove Farm. So the land reverted back to Grove Farm. And again, I won't go into all the details tonight, but long story short, a nonprofit was formed. It's called Kaulu Ikapono Academy, also known as KIPA, Kipa. And what KIPA is it's pretty much the facilitator for programs that's going to occur there at the facility. And KIPA became an organization in 2023, less than 2 years ago. And I went on the board. I was on the board of KIPA. And then I stepped off of the board because I didn't want a conflict. And in the event that KIPA was going to try and secure some county funds, I didn't want, because I was back on the council, I didn't want any perception of a conflict. So I did step down. And the KIPA did apply for 2 cycles of grants from the county, and they didn't get awarded any money, never got any money. So KIPA then secured a huge donation of $1 million from a foundation that changed the game, because at that point, KIPA could get into negotiations with providers to offer these services that we all know that we need on Kauai. I mean, there's no dispute. So I went back on the board, and I currently sit as the president of the board, and we began negotiations, and we're successful in getting the YMCA in 2023 to offer the outpatient and intensive outpatient treatment there at the facility. It started off where they were flying over their counselors here from Oahu, but they since then have hired the full-time team here, and they are providing all of the services at the facility and offsite as well. But the outpatient and intensive outpatient treatment programs are operating full-time at the facility. In the last month, we were finally successful. Again, the politics of this thing is so ridiculous. But initially, we had the DOE that was funded by the legislature. The Senate Ways and Means Committee came down and did a site visit and saw the program, saw the plan, and fully funded 2 classrooms at the site. And then the DOE decided they were going to pull out, and it just took a lot of aggressive negotiations between myself and our treasurer, Clyde Nakaya, and Mr. Hamada and the DOE to finally get them to agree that they will return. So we finally executed the contract. So this August, next month, when the school year starts, that 2 classrooms will be fully operational with the DOE. And we're very, very excited about that. The YMCA, will the YMCA be able to provide inpatient services? They do not provide the YMCA. They not for Kauai, but we are very close to securing a provider for the residential, and I cannot discuss or disclose the terms of that, but I will tell you that we're very close to getting something accomplished there, and I am very, very excited about that. But that brings me to my point, because that article was obviously shared by many people on Facebook and on social media. And I know, honey, I know you saw it because I saw your comment, and that's why I'm glad you're on tonight, because I wanted to explain something. Because there was a comment made about Mel Rapozo ignoring, and I'm gonna put the comment up because I want the people to see it, because I want the opportunity. That's the thing we talked about earlier. Social media, you can just fire anything out, and I don't engage anymore with I just don't have the energy to engage with misstatements or misinformation that's posted about me. I mean, like, really. But I will take this opportunity to express my position, because residential drug treatment is necessary. The reason the DOE pulled out was because whoever, I'm not going to mention names, but the person that was in charge of that program told us and told the DOE that Kauai didn't have the numbers of adolescents that to fill the classrooms. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure where you live or where you work or what, but the reality is we do. And I, when we accepted the land, there was a debate about residential services, and the state of Hawaii Department of Health representative came in to tell us that residential treatment doesn't work. Residential drug treatment doesn't work. That outpatient services are the standard treatment methods. And I will tell you right now, I disagree. And in fact, it's simply not true. You know, we got kids at different levels of addiction. We're talking about adolescents. We're not talking about adults. We're talking about adolescents that are struggling with drug abuse, drug addiction, behavioral issues. Outpatient services, that's when if you're starting out or you're exploring and you're struggling from addiction, yes, they're outpatient and intensive outpatient services have been very successful. And I cannot tell you the success stories that we've had at Kipa with the kids that have come through because of obviously privacy. But I will tell you that we have a bunch of success stories. We've had kids that after going through Kipa's YMCA program have decided to go on to Youth Challenge and move on to the military. We've had a bunch of them actually graduate from high school. So true, outpatient, inpatient, outpatient services are vital. And I cannot tell you how excited, and I hope I'm not going to cry tonight. I cannot tell you how excited and proud I am that Kipa was able to do that in less than 2 years. The county and the state, they've had that facility forever and couldn't even turn one outpatient service provider there. Kipa did it in less than 2 years. And that's because we have a committed board of people that know that we got to get it done. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm not saying this to the only reason I bring that up is because if you believe that the need is there and you work towards that need as a team, as a group, without no politics. That's why I love the nonprofit model, because you don't have to deal with politics. You can get things done. And that's why we're very close to the residential services. And I cannot wait for the day we go up there and allow that first residential client in that dormitory. And it's going to happen. You mark my word, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We have fought more opposition in the last almost 2 years from all kinds of political crap. But this Kipa board put that on the side and just said, we got to get it done for our kids, not for any other reason. Not for any other reason. I want to get to some of these comments. Yes, it's true, I'm a survivor and from MBK Maui. Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, for anyone to say that residential doesn't work or is not the standard, and I'm going to show the comment that what set this off. I saw that comment by a licensed mental health professional. She was way out of line to point the finger at you. Her opinion does not represent the DOH where she works. Thank you, honey. I was a little concerned because I saw your comment that followed, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, but honey, you know this. When I was a cop, you were working at the Department of Health. You were amazing. So I'm so thankful you put that up. So thankful. But we know for a fact on this island, there is a need for residential services. We know for a fact throughout this state, throughout this country, we have a serious problem with drug addiction with adolescents. And the surveys don't lie. And I can tell you, I know I also sit as a president of the Friends of Kauai Drug Court. I'm a mentor for these clients when they graduate from drug court. Listen, those, if not for residential treatment, they would not be able to successfully complete drug court. I don't speak because I read some crap on Google. This is This is what I do. This is the people, the drug addicts, the kids themselves tell me that the residential treatment. The problem is when we send our kid away to Oahu or to Utah or to California, one of the major components of residential treatment, successful residential drug treatment, is the family component. And when you take our kid and put them on another island or in another state, the cost prohibits their families or prevents their families from being able to fulfill that component of recovery. Well, how hard is that for anyone to understand? The Department of Health? Come on, we know. We know when a kid comes in for an assessment, the YMCA provides the assessment. They have trained, certified substance abuse counselors that have all the credentials. And they will make the determination, can this adolescent, should this adolescent be assigned to intensive outpatient, regular outpatient, or residential? And right now, if they need residential, there's just nowhere to go. And if you call Oahu and you pray to the Lord above that there's an open bed. And many times there isn't. And these kids are stuck in outpatient, intensive outpatient, when they really need residential. So come on, man. You cannot sit there and tell me that we don't have the kids, we don't have the numbers. And what bothers me is when people tell me that we cannot cost effectively run a program like this. Now, since when did money be a reason for us to stop looking for a provider? What? I mean, guys, we find money for all kinds of stuff in the state and in our county, and you cannot tell me that we cannot be putting more money. I have been, the last few weeks, I have been begging billionaires for money to fund the drug treatment center for the residential. And in fact, the lieutenant governor will be coming down next month, actually this month, the end of the month, to take a tour. I'm going to give her a personal tour because I believe the state should be paying some of the bill. So anyway, yes, I forgot. I was so excited. I missed it. You were so much fun to work with. We did. Yes. Oh, yes. Honey, you did your job so well. When you retired, it was a huge loss, and I'm so glad that we could, stay connected and stay as friends. But yeah. Anyway, I want to show the comment that was made on that post, and someone shared it with me, and then I went and looked it up. But again, I'm not going to engage with this person because I don't need to. I don't need her approval to pursue residential treatment on Kauai for our kids. I don't need anybody's approval. I will make it happen one way or the other. If I gotta go do a GoFundMe, if I gotta go do a car wash in Kukui Grove, I know I can get the people to come help me. But we need the doggone thing. But this is the comment. The article, and she's referring to the article that the Civil Beat wrote. The article states exactly why the facility never opened as an adolescent inpatient drug treatment center. No provider could be found who believed it to be economically feasible. Wrong. The most important issue not raised is the fact that inpatient treatment for adolescent substance abuse is not, all in caps, not the recommended standard of care. Outpatient treatment is. Well, ma'am, we are providing outpatient, but it's not sufficient. Mel Rapozo has heard this many times, but seems to simply ignore it. Mel Rapozo has heard this many times, but seems to simply ignore it. You daggone right. I ignore it because it's rubbish. It is pure garbage. When the State Department of Health came up to us, when this county council was there to approve that land donation from Grove Farm, that's what they came up and said. And I ignored it then. And I ignored it every time it was said because it's simply not true. I don't know where they get those doggone information from. It's crazy. Where listen. Take the money out of it. We need the service for our kids. We need the service for our kids. So take the money out of it. It's not a money issue, it's a priority issue. But let's get back to that doggone comment. No provider could be found who believed it to be economically feasible. You know why? Because we didn't look hard enough. Like I said, we started looking less than 2 years ago. We did have a provider, Bobby Benson, well known, great program, came to do the site visit, ready to turn the switch, and the state had concerns. The state agency, ADAD, that provides funding for these programs had concerns, so we couldn't use them. We then went again, we had two more providers, potential providers, but they did not have the fiscal resources to make it happen without a major subsidy. And they weren't what I would consider up to the standard of care that I would like to see at Keepa. The one we are working with right now, and I had to sign an NDA, so I'm not going to say more, fits all the standards. They're awesome. And anyway, but we never looked hard enough. The county didn't look hard enough. We did not make that a priority. In fact, the county wanted to turn that into an extension of the prosecutor's office. And then the county wanted to give that facility to the Hawaii State Hospital, HHSC. And if not for Grove Farm stepping up and saying, wait a minute, that building is going to go nowhere except for a residential drug treatment center for adolescents, because that is what the land was given for. If not for that, that building would not be there. This whole thing would have been done and our kids would have to suffer. So, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get these comments in because I really do appreciate the discussion. It's our fathers, mothers, daughters, sons that we have lost, and those who fight every day to keep the devil off their backs. Yes, we need this. We need someone to look who kill you. Pamela, bingo. We all have been touched by this. So when someone from the health profession comes and says that is not the standard, that we should be doing only outpatient, what the heck are they smoking? Listen, if I wanted to learn about football, if I needed some information on the X's and O's, the nuts and bolts of football, I wouldn't go see the UH athletic director. I'd go see a football coach or a football player. You know, if I was sick, when I had an issue with my health and I wanted to get some information, I wouldn't call the CEO of Wilcox Hospital, although I love that woman very much. I would go see a doctor. So when we talk about these Department of Health administrators that coming in and telling us it's not going to work, I don't want to hear from you. I will ignore you. Because the bottom line is the stories do not lie. I'm not going to mention names, but when I talk to kids that tell me straight to my face that if not for residential treatment, they'd be dead or in jail. When parents tell me if not for residential treatment, that the outpatient treatment simply was not enough because you have too much time outside of the treatment. You go in, you talk to a counselor an hour or two or whatever, and then you're back in the street. Some levels of addiction require residential treatment, and that is what this state person is telling me that is not true. That's why I ignore her, and I will continue to ignore her. This is a life or death issue. Hang on, I gotta check up some of these comments here. Mel, you got Jesus and got truth, and you got okay. Thank you, Chad, Calais. Reina, they have. Yeah, you're right. They gave up too easily. Fight for what's right. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. They were just saying, let's go find another use. No. Marlise, I know for a fact Kauai had a bad drug problem. You know, we still do. A lot of kids came here in Youth Challenge, and one of my friends' church called the Sure Foundation was an inpatient treatment center for youth and adults. I know because it was some of my friends and family. I mean, Marlise, again, you know, any normal, rational, reasonable person will tell you that residential treatment services are needed. And in fact, we needed them 20 years ago on Kauai. I just got on. Did we lose federal money because no, we did not lose money. There was no federal, we did not. It has nothing to do with federal money. This is not about federal money. This is simply about, I got a little perturbed because the Civil Bee did the article and this lady said that residential treatment is not the standard, that it's about outpatient. We provide outpatient. And I can tell you, it took Keepa less than 2 years to get everything in place. In fact, it took Keepa several months to get the outpatient going. Seriously. 2 meetings with the YMCA, 1 flight to Oahu to sit down with ADAD. They amended the state's budget, and we got the services in place. So, what's up, Senator Favela, my man? I'm so glad you're on this call because you are all too familiar with this problem. And I'm going to have to come get some help from you, bro, at the Senate for funnel some monies down to Kauai for fund our residential program. But we're going to try and do it with private money, and I think we're going to get it done. The bottom line is we gotta, the community gotta accept this facility is a model facility that could be the future model for all facilities. Where, Senator Favela, you know this, where can you find a residential treatment center that on the same lot, you get 2 classrooms from the DOE, so you don't have to worry about transporting your kids. You get one amazing commercial kitchen that we can run our culinary programs through, teaching our kids at a very young age how to operate one kitchen. This is fantastic. We get Taro Lo'i, we get farm, we get Kauai Humane Society is partnering with us to provide 3 therapy dogs that these kids are going to learn how to use and take care and train. And I'm telling you, this is something that is going to be magic. And I don't need nobody telling me, especially from the Department of Health, that doesn't work. Hell no. Hell no. Amen. We're going to make this happen. I promise you. We will make this happen. We have lost so many kids. One of the members on our board, and again, we're going to have, when we do this meeting, or this show specifically for the event, for the facility, we'll have the board members, but one of our board members lost her son. Her other son is one that will tell you straight to your face that if not for residential treatment, of course, he had to go to the mainland, and he had to go to some programs on Oahu, which really fractured that family component, as I spoke of earlier. We need the facility on Kauai, we need everybody here, but there is no other facility in the state that everything is self-contained. This is the answer. And I will make this plea with the Lieutenant Governor when she's here. Trust me, we got all the financials from the potential provider. We spend more money on pickleball courts than it would cost to fully operate this facility. So I am on a mission, and we will get this done. We will get it done, and I'm hoping we can get it done by the end of this year or the beginning of opening of next year. That's how committed I am, because we've seen too much. We've lost too many kids, and we continue to lose them because we have. How can you say, it's not fiscally? What? How can you say that? Senator Favela, how can anybody say, well, we need it, but we just cannot afford it? But let's go buy all this other crap and put up all these other stuff. As you can see, and I just kind of feel like a hypocrite right now, but because of what I was saying earlier in the show, but this is a passion, and it's not a passion because I just think it's a cool thing. This is something we needed a long time ago. And this is something that we have the land, we have the building, we have everything ready, turnkey. We have outpatient services there right now. DOE is there. They're going to start their classes in next month. The only thing missing is a residential. I mean, when we started on this road 23 years ago from Mayor Brian Baptiste, he got elected to the mayor. His first term on the mayor was my first term on the council, and he called me and he said, Mel, I'd like to start one anti-drug coalition, and I want you to be on it. I said, absolutely, Mayor. I absolutely. And he took office in December of 2002, early part of 2003. In one of our meetings, he said, I want to build an adolescent drug treatment center. And, everything was no more land, no more money for building, And fast forward to today, we have everything in place, and we have a provider that is ready to roll. And I will be coming to the community. Yeah, honey, the discussion was much needed. And I've been, because we have been in negotiations for most of the last 6 months with the DOE, I wasn't comfortable sharing any of that. But when I saw that comment on Facebook, then I knew I know I needed to clarify for the public that doesn't even know that place is open, that thought this place was sitting vacant for the last 7 years. Simply not true. Keepa took over again in 2023. And when Keepa took over, we did not take the foot off the gas. And you know, I'm not one to go do social media and brag about stuff, but I felt it was important that the public, because when they read a comment like that and they're not familiar with this whole process of drug addiction treatment, and they believe stuff like that, and it is just simply not true. How can anybody say that residential drug treatment for adolescents is not the standard? I mean, like, really? Really? Kurt, Senator Favela sums it up right. We need to save our children. There is no excuse. We've lost too many. We've lost way too many. And I can tell you, I'm not going to sit back and watch more die because we cannot figure out how to make this work. Yeah, I wish we had done it 10, 12, but I cannot look in the rearview mirror. We got to look forward. And I can tell you, this potential provider sent down all of their big shots. Interestingly enough, in this organization, all the big shots were certified drug people, drug counselors. And so they know what they're talking about. They weren't just administrators that were friends with, you know, people in high places that got positions and don't know a damn thing about what we're talking about. No, these were people that in the field, and they're excited. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited, because there's going to come a day very soon we're going to be having an event up there to raise money. And of course, drug and alcohol free. But I can assure you, we've been talking about the headliners coming down and just having an open house and an all-day concert and raise some money. And like I said, I have spoken to a couple of our billionaires and sent them the information, and I'm hoping that somebody will just write the check, man. It's not that much. You're not only dealing with drugs, it also helps with, yeah, it's you know, we get dual diagnosis going on here. So it's not just the drug addiction, it's also people that are suffering from depression and mental health issues as well. And the one thing that I did want to say was, it's a 16-bed facility. We have enough land there to expand, but right now we want to fill those 16 beds, and the priority will be Kauai kids. However, if beds are vacant and we don't have Kauai kids in line, then it will be open to other kids in the state, as the other bed space has been open for our kids in the past. We're here to save kids' lives, and that's what we're going to do. How's the parking facilities? There's a large parking lot. There's a large parking lot. It is the perfect facility. And I hope when we do our fundraiser, you guys can all come up and check it out and be proud of what Keepa has done. Yes, Senator, we have the highest teen suicide in the nation. And you got to ask yourself why, right? I mean, we live in paradise. Well, you know, we do have a lot of issues here, and it's just issues that we got to deal with. We got to confront, and we cannot let politics dictate how we're going to handle this going forward. Period. End of story. So anyway, hey, with that, folks, I appreciate you guys joining me tonight and letting me vent a little bit, because you know that comment really did set me off, and I wanted to just clarify some things. I also wanted to share a little bit about, you know, what my observations were, and then how we got to really settle down on the hatred and this thing, and really remembering and reminding ourselves that what we do is what is how our kids learn. And if we want to break that cycle, we want to create a better generation, and we got to be better people. That's all I wanted to say. I will close out this show tonight with the fireworks from last night at the PMRF. So guys, appreciate you guys so much. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your 4th of July. Again, I cannot believe we had so many people here tonight. I thought maybe one or two. We have a bunch. I appreciate all of you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one. All right, you guys take care. Enjoy the show. right. Hey, there's my wife. Aloha.